Kelly Cougars, and welcome to week 8 of your online library classroom. Before we get started today with our lesson, I want to give a shout out to all of you who have been fulfilling your daily reading requirements and completing that weekly reading log for our Read-a-thon. So far for the month of May, Kelly Cougars have read 55,824 minutes. That's 930 hours. We have one more week to read 44,176 minutes in order to see Miss Marchuk and Miss Whitney have a pie thrown in their face. So, my challenge to you is to triple your efforts. Read for 60 minutes every day this week and fill out your reading log on Friday. With all of our effort, we will achieve our goal. For our lesson today, I'm going to start out by reviewing the concrete poem assignment requirements. You have been asked to create an original concrete poem or shape poem. You are asked to create a Google document and to type your poem out in a paragraph in that Google document. Many of you did so, and I have given you feedback for editing your writing. The last step of the assignment was to create a symbol for the meaning of your poem and then to make a visual poem with the words from your Google document, the words for your poem, and the symbol that you chose. Taking those words and moving them around on the page in a creative way and combining it with the symbol, like a piece of visual artwork. I had a lot of really good questions last week about how is the best way for us to make this visual art poem. I recommend doing this by hand, taking a piece of paper and with whatever art supplies you have, looking at your Google document, drawing out the picture or symbol that you want and putting your words around that shape, erasing the lines that you don't want to keep, or coloring over top of them, and filling it out with any other designs that you think will enhance your poem. When you're finished, take a picture of that final poetry project and attach it to the assignment, the very last concrete poetry assignment for last week. This week we're going to move on. I'm going to share a story from a children's treasury of literature or collection of literature, and it's a very short story that my family used to read to me when I was a kid, and I really liked it. I want you to listen for the meaning of this story, and for this week's assignment, I want you to type in what you think the moral or lesson of this story is in the private comments section for this assignment, titled The Czar and the Falcon. I'm going to read from this collection today, A Harvest of Russian Literature, edited by Miriam Morton. So these are a lot of stories from Russian literature collected by this Miriam Morton and put together in one book. One of these stories happened to be something that I was read in my childhood. The Czar and the Falcon. A czar once went hunting. He let loose from his arm his favorite falcon to have him catch a hare, or a rabbit. The falcon caught the hare. The czar took it from him and then began to look for water to quench his thirst. He found water coming drop by drop from a weeping rock. He took a cup and placed it under the rock. When the cup was full, the czar raised it to his mouth and was about to drink from it when the falcon became agitated, flapped his wings against the czar's hand, causing all the water to spill from the cup. Again the czar placed the cup under the rock. He waited a long time for it to fill up, and when he raised it to his mouth, the falcon once more spilled the water. Why do you think the falcon keeps spilling the czar's water? If you're wondering what a czar is like a ruler or a king. When the Czar filled the cup for the third time and raised it to his mouth, the falcon spilled the water for the third time. The Czar grew very angry. With all his strength, he dashed the falcon against a stone and killed him. At that moment, the Czar's servants rode up to him. One of them climbed up the hill to the spring that fed the weeping rock, and where there was more water, so the cup could be filled more quickly. But the servant came back with the cup empty and said, "You must not drink this water. There is a serpent in the spring. It poured its poison into the water. It was lucky that the falcon spilled the water. If you had drunk it, you would have died." The Czar then said, "Badly have I repaid the falcon. He saved my life, and I killed him." What do you think the lesson of this story is? Is there a lesson? What could the Czar have done differently? What attribute or virtue was he needing to work on? When I say attribute or virtue, think of those cougar norms that we celebrate each month, like courage or honesty. All right. So for this week's lesson, I want you to respond to my questions in the assignments private comments area. If you haven't turned in your concrete poem, you can work on that. I will be looking at those until the last day of school. And don't forget to read for 60 minutes a day so we can see Miss Marchak and Miss Whitney get that pie in their face. Don't forget to fill out your reading logs. Until next time, Kelly Cougars.